bike engine and putting it in this children's go-kart to make one of the most terrifying drifting machines you have ever seen. Let's get to work. Well, first things first, we obviously have to see if this thing will do a burnout. It will clearly do a burnout, so I can only expect that this thing is going to be able to make a little kid's toy drift. Oh, I almost just lost it. All right. We bought this go-kart a couple months ago and we tried to get this stock 3.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine to make this thing drift, but unfortunately we just could not do that. So today we're gonna take this 2005 KX85 30 horsepower race bike and we're gonna put the engine in that thing. We also teamed up with Go Power Sports because we need a whole lot of parts for this build. We have a brand new live axle, we have a jack shaft, we have all sorts of stuff. So first things first, we need to get that thing, blow it apart, take the old engine out, and then start fitting all these parts and that engine in that go-kart. First things first, we gotta get the body off this thing and see what we're working with. The body might be like the heaviest part besides the engine on this thing. So obviously this thing doesn't have a whole lot of chassis here, but it's plenty enough to do drifts. Now that we have the body off, we'll pull this engine out. We're gonna mark on the chassis where the center of this axle is because we want it to be in the same spot. And it looks like we're gonna cut this whole bar out of here because this axle, it's not a live axle. Well, it kinda is, but if you can see, this wheel does not spin with that wheel. So that meant no drifts. So we'll cut this out, get the wheels that are, you know, connected to each other in here and go from there. All right, old junk engine is out. And if that was a car, that would have taken like hours. Now we can start to see where everything's gonna go. We actually need to go ahead and pull the engine out of this thing now so we can start mocking it up. So you see if we can't ruin a perfectly good dirt bike. Alright, so I get the spark plug wire out and the entire wiring harness, which is this, is ready to go. Alright, carburetor's out, cooling system's unbolted. We need to get the exhaust out and we should be able to pull the engine. We got one more even. And now we should have our donor engine. Now that we have this go-kart torn apart, you can really see that there's not a whole lot going on with the go-kart, and there's even less going on with this engine. 85 cc's of pure fury, which is 30 horsepower, and that's kind of crazy to think about. The whole concept is we're building a drift burnout, just fun little contraption for what's called the Contraption Show and the Burnout Contest at Sturgis Buffalo Chip, specifically Camp Zero. We're gonna go there here in about a week, and we're gonna try and get this whole go-kart built, tested, tuned and ready to go across the country so we can enter it in this crazy show, and hopefully it all works out. We're gonna take you guys along for that ride as well. So without further ado, let's cut out this rear axle. We took some measurements so we know exactly where it goes in the chassis, and we'll start to rework all this tube work so we can fit the new axle, the new engine, a jack shaft, and fuel tank, because we need all those things for this thing to drift. So let's cut this thing out and get started. About to back half this golf cart. What is up, you guys? Summer is here, and that means we are out four-wheeling, buying gas for all our weird contraptions, eating out and all the things, which is why I am so stoked to say that today's video is sponsored by Upside. Free Upside app gets you cash back on daily essentials like gas, groceries, and dining. There are over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the Upside app, which means getting cash back is always super easy and just around the corner. And yes, this is real cash back. No points, no rewards, no credits. This is just real money that you can transfer straight into your bank account once this stuff
is in your Upside account. All you gotta do is claim your offer on Upside, pay as usual with your credit or debit card, fill up your gas, eat your food, do whatever you're doing, and then you're gonna get paid, which is super awesome because everyone knows we can use a few extra dollars in our pockets. People are earning $1 million a week collectively on the Upside app, and think about how much gas you could buy with that. That's a lot of freaking gas. We are always traveling, which means we're always filling up our tanks, eating out, and all the things. So that means we use Upside all the time. If you haven't tried it out, you should check it out because it really is just cash back in your pocket, and it makes traveling and spending money so much easier knowing you're getting a little bit of that back. Using the Upside app is an easy way to get cash back every time you're filling up the tank, going out to eat, or stocking up on those daily essentials. It's stuff you're doing all summer long and stuff that you spend most of your money on all summer long, so it's nice to know that we can get a little bit of that money back via direct cash to our bank account. And just like that, we have got cash back and a full tank of gas. Top Upside earners are making as much as $300 a month, which is huge. Find out how much you could save on Upside, go ahead, go to the link in the description, download the Upside app, use the code FABWORKS, and you'll save an extra 25 cents off per gallon on your first tank of gas. You can also scan the QR code below, so thank you so much to Upside for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's get back to the shop.
We don't need that where we're going. Now that we have the chassis prepped over there, we can start thinking about all these parts that we got from Go Power Sports and how we're gonna put them on that chassis. First things first, I wanna assemble the rear axle. So we have our sprocket here, brake, rotor, we have the bearings to mount the axle, and we have a whole bunch of other stuff, including jack shafts, the brake caliper, a bunch of lock collars, and all sorts of other stuff that we may need, we'll probably need to get this mounted. Brake rotor. And one more of these.
So this live axle is held together all by a keyway. So right now we're putting a key in the keyway so that we can lock the wheel. Now we can tighten this and use the wheel to let the whole axle spin.
Now that we have the rear axle assembly mostly assembled, what we need to do is take these bearing brackets and we need to put them centered at 51 inches. So they are 4 inches, and so that puts the center of them at 2 inches. So we'll just subtract 2 inches, mark the front, and then we can weld those on and get the axle bolted in place. So we have marked exactly where the front of the bearing bracket goes. Luckily, the bearings in this are actually like time style bearings, so this doesn't have to be perfectly centered, doesn't have to be perfectly square. We can just pretty much eyeball it and it's gonna work. All right, now we have that tacked together, we can drop in the axle and we can see if everything looks like it's gonna fit. And bada bing, bada boom. The axle does fit, although the sprocket needs to be on that side and the brake caliper needs to be on this side, so we're gonna have to unbolt it, flip it around, and then it'll be correct. Now that we have the axle kind of where we want it, I want to make sure that the body is going to clear this massive sprocket. In order to do that, we got to put the body back on. Okay, not going to clear. We definitely are going to have to take a big chunk out of this, but that's okay. So we'll go ahead and cut that out when the time does come, but for now, all is well. We'll keep building, anticipating cutting this thing up. would you just look at it? We just kind of threw this 2x6 in here and threw the engine here to see if it all fit, and everything's looking absolutely stellar. We're gonna do a couple of tabs off of this back bar up to the swing arm bolt, and then we have another bolt in the front that we're gonna make a bar in between these rails, and then we'll put 2 more tabs up to that. We're only gonna use 2 of these motor mounts. It shouldn't have too much torque. The whole point of this thing is to not have the tire stick to the ground, so I think that'll be plenty. Overall, this thing, the packaging is amazing. We're probably gonna try and put the muffler out that way, but also keep it out of the way of the kickstart, because we do need to start this thing. So we'll go ahead and make some brackets to go from this bar to this bolt hole, which are gonna end up being about 5.5 from the center of the bolt hole to this bar here. So we'll get those 2 cut, get them tacked in place, and we'll start messing with the front one. Let's get this thing mounted and get this thing drifting. So what we just did is we ruined a good KX85 engine. Not really. So I didn't have the correct bolt, the correct length to mount this. So we just drilled out to 1/2 inch. It was some metric bolt that we don't have here. And now I have plenty of 1/2 inch bolts. So we'll cut out those 2 tabs and get this thing welded on now. All right, and now we have our new nice 1/2 inch hole, and we have our engine mounts. So we'll get this snugged up. All right, so these tabs should actually also make sure that we are square to the chassis and hopefully square to that front axle, because we don't want any chain misalignment causing issues. That is looking good right about there. So we'll go ahead and tack this thing in place. This is our jack shaft, and it is looking tight back here. Very tight. All right, so that was in the way of the jack shaft, and I'll explain the whole jack shaft situation now. What we have going on back here, if you come around to this side, is we have a jack shaft that has to go somewhere in that vicinity. Here's our brackets for that. We'll get those mocked up in a minute. But what the jack shaft is going to do, essentially, is transfer power coming out of this engine to this shaft. The shaft will start spinning, and then these will both be stationary. We'll transfer the power through this and then forward to our sprocket there, so that we can make the go-kart go forward when the engine, starts a ripping. Otherwise, we'd have to go down and over at an angle, and it would obviously never work. So that's the jack shaft situation. We need to get our other motor mount, which is on the front here, dialed in. The jack shaft itself does have some adjustment front to rear, so that should help tighten everything up. But I'm thinking about putting an adjustable motor mount so that we can also adjust the motor relative to the jack shaft, and then the jack shaft relative to the rear axle. That way we have a lot more flexibility with getting all the chains tight. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut a piece of 1/4 inch, about, 2 inches wide by 16 inches long, run it across these 2 main bars of the go-kart chassis, and then we'll build that motor mount for the front of the motor, because right now all that's holding this entire motor up is just these 2 tabs and this bolt. And we need a little bit more than that. So back on the Langmuir table, and we'll get back to work. Time for new consumables, likely. All right, there's our little hole that we need to make into 1 more engine mount, 2 more little brackets. We have more motor mounts, so we'll just go ahead and do the same thing. Thread through here, send that through there. And we'll tighten this up, tack these in place, and the motor should be pretty finalized and ready for welding out. Locked in place. We now have the motor good and secured. It's not going anywhere. So now we can really start thinking about jack shaft placement. So I'm going to play around with all the brackets we have and the jack shaft location until it's where I want it. And when we get where we want it, then we will proceed with all of the rest. Oh! I kind of welded my finger. Not too bad, but it was enough. Jack shaft, shafted. Alright, get these collars on, tighten them down, and now the jack shaft is in there and it's not coming out. We have the axle centered, we have everything tightened down on the axle, including the sprocket, and we have the jack shaft tightened down so it's not going anywhere. So now we can start making the chains for the axle to jack shaft and the engine to jack shaft. We have a big old length of 420 chain, and we have 2 master links. So we'll go ahead and cut these to length, get these installed, and start orienting and positioning both of these sprockets. Boom, we got some chains. 2 chains, actually. After playing around with a ton of different configurations of where the jack shaft needs to be, what size sprockets to use, we finally got everything sorted out. We got our chain on here. We have our chain on here. The longer chain is a little bit looser, but it should work just fine. We had to move the jack shaft as low as possible and as far back as we possibly could for this given situation to make everything happy. And now it all works. So now that we have the drive situation pretty sorted, we need to work on the brakes. For this, we have, as you saw, we have the little brake rotor here. What we're gonna do is we have a bracket for the caliper. It slides right on. We'll go from there once we get this thing bolted in. All right, got a brake in there. We whipped up a couple of brake brackets here. What we need to do now is make a linkage from the brake pedal over here to the brake caliper. So as you can see, when I push on that lever, we have the brakes engaged. So we need to make this little steel rod we have here go that way when I push the lever, and that will engage the brakes. Obviously that's very exaggerated, but that's what we need. But we're gonna weld this rod on here down, and then when you press the brake pedal, we have a pivot that does go backwards. And we'll weld a washer on the end of this, we'll weld a washer on the end of this, we'll put a bolt through them so it can pivot, and then when you push on the brake, we should have brake happen back there. So without further ado, we'll clean this up, cut it to length, do some welding, do some fabricating, bolt some stuff together, hopefully have some brakes. So this bar right here that we have for the steering wheel is in the way of where the rod's gonna go, so we're just gonna get it out of the way. Now, come to this side, mark where it needs to be cut. So that's full brake, that's not. It's so hot because I just welded it, I'm scared. Oh yeah, the whole thing is very, very hot. We have a working brake pedal. Dang. So we got the brake sorted out, and when we got the brake sorted out, the next step is obviously the throttle. So we put the carburetor on and started messing with some things. We ended up reusing the existing throttle sleeve, put new cable inside of it, and then over here on the throttle pedal, when we had it mounted down here where the existing throttle was, we didn't have enough swing, so we went higher up in the arc. So now when we go there, it's fully tight, no more left. We need to put a return spring on it because obviously it sticks, but we have working brakes and a working throttle. So now we get to worry about the shifter and the clutch. Those two are a little bit harder. What I did here is I routed the clutch cable under the seat, and I think what we're gonna do is put a couple levers here, and you'll pull on the lever, which will end up, we'll have like a pivot point here, so it'll pull it forward, and that will pull on the clutch there, and we'll do the same thing for the shifter. And when you pull the shifter towards you, it should shift up, so first, second, third, fourth when you're going towards you, and then when you push it away from you, it should shift down, so fourth, third, second, first. Hopefully it works out that way. We may end up having to move this brake lever over so that we have room for both of these, but we'll see. So again, we're gonna use the stock clutch sleeve here, and we have just one of these universal repair kits, build your own kit thing here, but it's not fitting in our clutch housing, so we're just gonna drill it out and hopefully it's the right size. Ah! Okay, now this should hopefully, yep, fit in there. Perfect. So that's ready for once we get the other side sorted. We'll make this exactly as long as it needs to be, and we should have a clutch. But we have a lot of this side to do first. So what I've been thinking about this side is I'm gonna CNC cut out. You could do it out of tube, you could do it out of whatever, but I'm doing it out of plate. We're gonna cut a little riser here that's just gonna act as the pivot point, get it cut out, and I'll show you what I'm talking about because it is kind of complicated. I made a thing, and this thing goes right there. And when this thing goes right there, we'll drill a couple holes in this side, send a couple rods down, and these will be the shifters and the clutch. When you pull this way, see how the lever point, shink, shink. So we'll have one for the clutch, one for the shifter. It's not gonna be the most ergonomic thing in the world, but we don't have a whole lot of space to play with. We're out of pedal room, couldn't do a pedal. And we also have tabs that we're gonna weld right here, so that we can drill through the lever and, well, maybe not drill through the lever, because then there won't be much lever left. We'll weld something to the lever and then we'll make it a lever, all right? Dude, look at all of that. Whoosh, whoosh, whoop. Wait, yeah, there we go. That's gonna be clutch. We ended up getting some pretty bad porosity on those, but they turned out. We'll put some sleeves in between everything so that it's perfectly tight and we won't have this side to side slop. And yeah, I think overall, this should work. So for the shifter, we have it right here. And as you can see, down is first gear, up, you got neutral, and then you have the rest of the 6 gears. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull this shifter off, orient it straight up and down, and then we'll have this rod that goes to that shifter, and as you shift forward, you'll go down, so that'll be all the down gears, and then pulling it towards you will be up, so that'll be all the up gears. So what we need to do first is pull the chain, pull the shifter, pull it off, straighten it out, put it back in, cut it off, weld a washer on it. The washer we cut on the plasma table. Do the same thing as we did for the brake, get it hooked up on both sides. The shifter will be done. Now that we have the shifter linkage in, we flattened out the shifter here, so it's gonna work for our application. It's gonna miss our chain. That's what's important. Now we're just gonna take this bar, cut it down to length, get it installed the same way we have the brake lever installed. And once everything is hooked up, we'll have washers on both sides. We'll make sure it shifts. And if that does work, then all we have to think about is the clutch, which is pretty sweet. And then of course, fuel, putting everything back together, welding it all out. There's a bunch more steps, but as far as getting everything roughed in, we're really, really close. I did it. I made the shifter work. There's first gear, and then we have neutral, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, all of it. We have got the clutch installed. So we got our clutch cable here. Again, we used the factory clutch sleeve, so that was easy enough. We put new cable in it, put a little custom DIY trail fix end on it, but it works. We then went under the go-kart, welded on this, and this is really just keeping the clutch sleeve where we want it. And then we sent the clutch line forward, and we have our clutch lever here. So when you pull on that, if you look back here, so we now have a clutch, we now have a shifter, we now have a gas, and we have a brake. I think we have every single thing we need. I think we're set. I think now we take everything apart, weld everything up, make sure everything's good. We're gonna put a return spring on the throttle. We're gonna put a return spring on the brake. And other than that, I can't think of anything else that we need to do. Oh, well, it won't run without gas. So we gotta get the gas in it because there ain't no gas in it right now. And what we're gonna do for the gas is grab our freaking sick wing. Yeah, it clears everything else. We're gonna be real close to the pipe, but that's okay. I think what we're gonna do for gas for the time being is quite literally zip tie a Gatorade bottle right here in the general vicinity, and then have a hose going in it. I think that'll work. We're also gonna need to order an air filter because we definitely don't want to suck in all of the dust that this thing will inevitably kick up. Other than that, we're good. So we'll go ahead, get everything welded out, get everything good, put back together, tightened up. Before the exhaust is done, we sure as heck can hear this thing run and maybe even take it up the street. Couple more hours of work, we should be on a test rip. So I think that's all the bolts that we need to tighten. How freaking cool. All right, gotta get some wiring. The little bit of wiring that exists on this thing. Boom, is this kill switch. Just gonna see if she fires. It runs. All right, well, it needs a muffler, but it runs. God, that is so obnoxiously loud. I didn't think this little thing did that much, but here we are. Oh, so much better. All right, fire me up. We will 100,000% have this on before we do anything crazy, but I'll probably drive it once first. Am I bleeding?
Yeah.
Bad?
You're burned, you're bad.
Couple things. That thing is absolutely terrifyingly fast. I threw the chain, broke it. I lost all the set screws. All right, that explains it. All right, well, aside from the slightly bruised up back, this thing absolutely rips. It's terrifyingly fast. It spins everything so fast that we lost every single set screw in our jack shaft. We lost every single set screw in our axle, nearly. So we're gonna have to go and buy a ton of set screws for everything because we need to put this thing back together because we didn't even actually get to show you guys really how fast it went. We got like 2 clips. Sorry about that. So yeah, we will go ahead and get everything reset screwed in, Loctite it in, and let the Loctite set for a while. And then we will retest this with a helmet, and I'm probably gonna make a chain guard because I don't even know if we can show this. So yeah, other than that, this thing is insanely fast. It rips through every single gear in like no time at all. I don't know how fast we went, but I would say it was like probably 40, maybe 45, like instantly. So yeah, very fast go-kart. Let's go ahead and get this thing finalized up, get all the set screws in, maybe get the body back in, and we will revisit this. Dang, that will protect me from possibly losing limbs. Good stuff. And this is a dang chain guard. What we did is we just cut this out, cut a template out, used a little bit thinner steel, wrapped it around, tack welded the crap out of it, and then put a brace on there so that it will bolt on to our little thing there. So now, in theory, I shouldn't get hurt if the chain falls off again.
just a theory, but we're gonna test it.
All right, for this test trip, we have a chain guard, we have Loctite on every single set screw, and I have a helmet. Also, shout out to Rook for sending this helmets. Huge upgrade from our last helmets. So we'll be safe at Sturgis, and we're safe when we're driving crappy machines like this. So I guess give it one more test trip and see what happens. I'm gonna also check after the first rip to make sure all the set screws are still in. That was better. The chain, it's still on. That's crazy. Whoo! I'm like shaking. It's fast. Yeah, all our set screws for now. My freaking shifter, the one bolt I didn't replace, the shifter has no bolt right now. So we need to get a lock nut in there. And then I guess we need to do a top speed run. This thing is crazy. Well, the steering wheel fell off at 2 miles an hour, and it didn't fall off at 40 miles an hour, so that is a W. Like, look at this. This fell out, and this is how I was in the neighbor's yard. I'm glad I wasn't like this and smashed into the neighbor's yard. All right, let's get a few finishing touches on this thing, throw the body on, and take it to Sturgis. Woo! This is technically day one of our Sturgis trip. We are taking all of this junk in our Overlander 4Runner, and we're headed to Sturgis, South Dakota for the world's largest motorcycle rally. It's gonna be crazy. We just woke up, 7 in the morning. We're gonna go find coffee first things first. So without further ado, let's get on the road. Look at all these dope trucks. We got 4Runners, we got 4-wheel drive RVs. We made it to Wyoming. We have coffee. It's very good. Cheers, babe.
Cheers.
Woohoo! It's huge. These are like 32-ounce coffees, so we should be good for the duration of this trip. Like that, we are officially in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and I got a gluten-free cookie.
It is so bad right now. The hail is massive. Oh man, these bikers are so sad. Good morning. It is officially day one of Sturgis. We're here at Camp Buffalo Chip. There is my beautiful wife, Jenna, and we were woken up to the lovely sound of Ultra 4 racers this morning. It was actually really good. It was pretty awesome. I love racing and off-road racing specifically, so it was really cool to see here at Sturgis. We didn't unload the go-kart quite yet. Maybe going into town Sturgis, getting some food, getting some water, getting all the things we need to survive this insane event. We were so busy and excited to get here that we didn't stop for food or drink or anything. Again, watch out! Oh my Lord! Oh my Lord! Oh my Lord! Please say a prayer for us here at the Buffalo Chip.
So here's the deal, you guys. We went to Sturgis. It was absolutely insane. We did do burnouts, but not with this. So we got there and immediately the Sturgis crowd mentality took over, and I was driving it and I was letting my friends drive it. 'Cause this thing was pretty sorted. And then in comes our friend Dizzy. Now, Dizzy, she can do what I could never do on a Harley Davidson motorcycle, and she's like this tall and like 110 pounds soaking wet. What she forgot to do with this machine is shift. So it may have seen red line for like all of it, and now what was a very great running rig is it like doesn't even sound like it wants to run anymore. So unfortunately we did not do our burnout at Sturgis, but this thing is sick. Go Power Sports made sure that we had all the parts we need to make this entire go-kart, and you can also get all those parts if you go to gopowersports.com. Yeah, I don't know what to do with this anymore. If I should rebuild it, if I should put like a 450 in it, give it more power, if I should just forget about it and build Toyotas like I'm good at. It is what it is. It sucks because I built it, put all that work in it, took it multiple states away, 1,000 miles, and didn't get to do what I set out to do. But I also had so much fun building it, driving it, and everything. It just does suck because we didn't get a whole lot of footage of this thing running. It's my bad. I should know better than to drive stuff without a camera on because I'm good at breaking stuff. So it is what it is. We fiberglassed the front thing. I don't even know if we showed this. We fiberglassed the front fin back on, so it's fixed.
It looks really cool. It's been sitting in the rain for a week or two because we got back a little while ago. Yeah, unfortunately, these aren't all happy endings, and I don't always do things, I don't know. It was done right. It's just broken now, and I'm kind of sad about it. But it is what it is. So anyway, if you guys want to see more of this, spam the comments. If you don't ever want to see a go-kart again, spam the comments. I need to know. But we have a lot of cool stuff coming your way in the next couple months, and some big news coming up soon too. So yeah. I know, I'm just rambling, but thank you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to support the channel, we got merch, we got a Patreon, we got all the things. If you want to, you know, help us out, you can just say, hey, get off your butt, build cool stuff. Because the encouragement really does help. But other than that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you liked the video or how you didn't like the video. And until next time, guys, I will see you later.